Okay, in section 5.6b, we are going to do 6 more practice problems with graphing linear inequalities. So I encourage you to look at your steps from the last section of notes, 5.6a, where it lists those 6 steps at the top. Take it step by step, one step at a time. So for number 1, my first step is to put it in y-intercept form. To do that, I need to get y by itself. So I'm going to start by moving everything away from y. Start with what's furthest away. The opposite of positive 6 is negative 6. So that gives me 0. Don't forget to bring this negative down with my 4y. Then I get negative 6 plus 12. Now I need to get rid of my negative 4 times y. The opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by negative 4. Now remember our rule with inequalities when it comes to multiplying and dividing by negative numbers. I need to flip my sign. Then negative 6 over negative 4 is 3 over 2, x minus 3. Okay, now I'm ready to start plotting my 2 points. My first point is going to be y equals negative 3. My second point, I'm going to go up 3 and over 2 for my slope. Up 3 over 2 leads me right there. Okay, now I'm going to look at my sign and determine what kind of a line I'm going to draw. If I have a equal sign underneath there, it is greater than or equal to. This means I'm going to have a solid line. So I can connect those 2 points with a solid line. Then finally, if it is greater than, that means I'm going to shade above. Shade above my graph. Okay, let's look at number 2. Negative 2x is greater than 3y. Now this one is a little trickier because my y is on the other side of my equation. So the first thing I want to do is I want to flip the whole equation like a pancake so I have my y on the other side. If I do that, if I flip it like a pancake, 3y, if I flip my whole equation, I got to flip my sign with it. The sign goes with my numbers. So now this is my equation. Then the next thing I'm going to do is get y by itself. If I have 3 times y, that means I'm going to divide by 3. When I do that, I get y is less than negative 2/3 x. Okay, now I have it in slope-intercept form. I have nothing over here. It is plus 0, so that means my b equals 0. And my m is negative 2 over 3. So I'm going to start by plotting my 2 points. 0 is right in the center, and then I'm going to go down 2 over 3. Next, I'm going to look at my sign. My sign is less than, so that means I'm going to have a dotted line. And then if it is less than, that means I'm going to shade below my line. So I can shade everything below my dotted line. All this is part of my answer. Any of those numbers in my shaded region would make my equation true. Okay, let's look at number 3 and 4. Number 3, my y is already by itself, so I am already at step number 2. I can just identify my y-intercept and my slope. My b is negative 5. That means I'm going to put my first point at negative 5. My slope is 2. That means my slope is really 2 over 1. Go up 2 and over 1. Okay, then let's look at what kind of line I'm going to have. It's got that equal sign, so it's going to be solid. And if it is greater, that means it is going to be shaded above. So I'm going to shade everything above my line. Okay, number 4. We have negative 3x is less than 18. There's no y in this equation, so I'm going to get x by itself this time. If I have negative 3 times x, the opposite of multiplication is division. Divide by a negative 3 on both sides. I get x is less than negative 6. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that when I divide by a negative 3, I did not flip the sign. We need to always remember to flip the sign when it's negative. So let's go back and fix that. It should be x is greater than negative 6. So now let's pull out that point, negative 6. And if I have a greater than symbol, no line underneath, that is going to be a dotted line. And finally, if it is greater than, I'm going to shade everything to the right. Everything that is greater than x is 6. All right, last two problems. Number 5. We have 5y is less than or equal to 15. Let's get y by itself. If we have 5 times y, that means I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides. I get y is less than or equal to 3. Similar to our last one, it's going to start with y equals 3. Before I draw that line, oops, that's not y, that's x, y equals 3. Before I draw that line, I need to look at my symbol so I know what kind of line to draw. This tells me I need a solid line. Straight across at y equals 3. And then finally, this tells me that y is less than 3. So this means I'm shading below my line everything where y is smaller than 3. Okay, last question. 2x plus 4y is greater than negative 8. I need y by itself. So to get y by itself, I'm going to start with everything furthest from y. I'm going to move my positive 2x by taking away 2x from both sides. When I take away 2x from this side, all I'm left with is 4y. When I take away 2x from this side, I have negative 2x minus 8. Then to get rid of my 4 times y, I'm going to divide by 4. Okay, y is greater than negative 1 over 2x minus 2. Now I have it in y-intercept form, so I can see this is my b. I'm going to put that on here first, go to y is negative 2. Then from there, I'm going to go down 1 and over 2. Now I can look at my sign to see what kind of line I'm going to draw. So if I have no dashed line underneath there, it is going to be dotted. And if it is greater, that means it is going to be above. So I can shade everything that is above my line.